We are ready to talk about the questions on Review and Preview 2.1.2. The first question that you see is question 15, and it, for both A and B, starts off with a number pattern. It asks you to come up with the next 3 terms and explain the number or the pattern in words. So on your answer sheet, there are 3 blanks for you to figure out what the pattern is and show me the next 3 terms. And for each of those, when you're writing them in words, something to think about, don't say, for example, a plus sign and 2. Instead, you need to be a little bit more appropriate with your answer by saying add 2 each time. And we're going to be better than even saying don't say plus 2. We can say add 2 each time or add 2 repeatedly. And the same is true if we come across an operation that is multiplication. Don't just write x2 or dot 2. Don't write times 2. You need to write it out appropriately and say multiply by 2 each time, whatever that would happen to be there. For question 16, they show us a histogram, which is number of people that are normally at home for dinner. For part A, it's asking how many classmates were surveyed. You're going to get that from the height of each of these bins. Remember, each bar is called a bin. This one goes up to 2, so this particular bin here represents 2 people. This one represents 3 different people. So part A asks you to consider all of them and find out how many are there all together. For part B, it asks how many classmates have 8 or 9 people at home for dinner. The reason it's asking about 8 or 9 is because you'll remember that each bin represents more than one value. This first bin here represents folks that have 0 or 1 people for dinner. The next one would be 2 and 3. The third one would be 4 and 5, and so on and so on. So if we're looking for how many people have 8 or 9, we can find both of those in the same bin. For part C, it asks, can you tell which is the most common number of people at home for dinner? You have to decide and start by circling on part C yes or no on your answer sheet and tell me yes, I know because, or you can tell me no, I don't know because. So that would be what you need to do on part C there. For question 17, Maria is putting together party favors for her niece's birthday party. And it's talking about what she puts in each bag. She puts 3 small chocolate candies and 4 hard candies. If Maria had 12 bags, how many candies did she use in all? So we're looking for the total number of candies that she would have for the first part on your answer sheet. Then the next part asks you about how could you represent this with a numerical expression. If you were going to show me a numerical expression that could be used to figure out that total number, it's likely that it's going to include 2 different operations, addition and multiplication. So when I look at this, I'm looking to see, do we have that represented correctly so that if I were following order of operations, I would be able to get the right answer, the right value for that expression. For question 18, how many different rectangles can you draw with an area of 28? So in other words, we're looking at how many different factor pairs are there for 28. Question 18 has a space that says blank rectangles, and if it helps you to draw the rectangles, there is certainly space to do that as well. So I need to know how many different rectangles there are. And the perimeter part, if you're going to say it's a 1 by 28 rectangle, then there's going to have to be some addition that you do to get that perimeter. So I'm looking for what are the individual perimeters on those rectangles. For question 19, it says Ms. Katz paid $50 for a used bicycle, then she sells it for more, then she buys it for more, and then she sells it for more. And in the end, it's asking you how much money did she make or lose overall. And while there are a couple of different ways you can do this, one suggestion I would make to you would be in one part of your answer space, keep track of here's what she spent and come up with a total. and then in a separate spot come up with here's how much she earned each time she sold it, and come up with a total. If you compare those two totals together, you'll know whether she made money or whether she lost money, and you'll be able to tell by how much.